Hi, and welcome to Ikipaloto's Awareness Through Movement classes. Each month, I will post a new lesson to all of my followers to download. These lessons are always free with no sign up required. The lessons are usually taught to the public and then uploaded onto my website. Don't hesitate to contact me for questions you have about a specific lesson or awareness through movement lessons in general. I also offer private lessons or small group lessons. Go to ikpaloto.ca to learn more. And enjoy this lesson, and don't forget to breathe. Okay, so now we are actually ready to go. Yeah, we're going to be on our side so you can get yourself some head pads to be on your side. Um, so there are two new people in this class who weren't there at my last class. And so in the last class, we did this ATM called Arm Like a Skeleton, where we raised, most of us raised our right arm to the ceiling, and gently and slowly raised it a little bit more so that the shoulder blade would come off the floor. So if folks are interested in trying that out, again, just to see where you're starting at now, today, and where you might end tomorrow. And ask yourself if you're breathing, how you're breathing. And one question I'd asked a lot was, if you know you're breathing, how do you know you're breathing? And then remember to go easy and soft. And you can also try with your left hand when you want. We also explored the direction. Okay, so you can put that down and just reflect on what we did last week. And we're going to start this week's ATM. So the main position for this ATM will be laying on the floor, and you can bring your knees up and your feet standing. You can also lay them on the floor, that's fine. See whatever is more comfortable. You can exchange throughout the lesson if you want. And sometimes that's really interesting to see what's the difference between having your legs laying on the floor or having your feet standing and your knees bent. So place one hand on your chest and one hand on your abdomen. So your abdomen is right where your pelvis is, just a little bit lower. There's the possibility of breathing there. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. And if you want to put pads under your arms to help your arms reach, to help your hand reach your abdomen, you can put it a little bit lower even. There you go, yeah. You can put it a little bit lower too. Yeah, right there. Yeah. And notice which hand is on what part. Is it your left hand on your abdomen, your right hand on your chest, or the opposite? Which one are you doing? And just notice that and don't change it. You can just keep it like that. And notice your breathing. Where are you moving? What hand is coming closer to the ceiling What hand is going down or closer to yourself or closer to the floor? Or which hand do you feel moving? Going up and down? Which hand is not moving? Is there a hand that's not moving? And now you can slowly open your mouth and take a deep breath in. And while you're doing that, so just wait for the whole instruction. So take a deep breath in and expand the chest so the air is going inside the chest and the chest kind of gets bigger, kind of turns into a big ball. You keep the breath inside, and when you're ready, you exhale. So your chest becomes big all around. So it goes big in every direction, going up and going to the floor as well. It expands. This whole cavity kind of just gets bigger, like it inflates like a balloon on every single side. And while that happens, your belly goes down. And if that's hard to imagine, if that's hard to do, then you can imagine it. So that while your chest is going up, you take that breath, your chest goes up, and your belly goes down. Kind of like a seesaw, like the name of this ATM. Chest goes up, belly goes down. And you can use your hands to feel if that's actually happening. And while you're doing this, can you keep the image of your whole self, the whole of your whole body, from your feet all the way to your head? Can you keep the image of your whole self? And if not, do a smaller movement if you're not able to see your whole self. You can do a smaller movement, a smaller breath. It doesn't have to be like the biggest, like you're gonna do a race to last the longest underwater. Instead, you're just focused on what you can learn and what you can gather from this experience. So a breath that raises the chest and brings down the abdomen. So now you can change over your arms. And if ever you want to take a break, you can take a break as well. And in that break, you can notice what you're doing and how you're breathing. With the same principle of the chest going up and the belly going down. Taking small breaths. Or not small, but not too big. And while you're doing that, you can try to think about the whole image, your whole self, from your feet to your legs, your knees, your pelvis, your stomach, your chest, your neck, your spine, and your head. Okay, no, that's fine. can take a little break. Rest that breath. How would one rest a breath? I don't know. But while you're in your break, you can check out how you're breathing, how you're just feeling, being in this space, not being in such a cold outside weather. Although even though it's cold, it's kind of bright and beautiful. Who'd ever thought I'd say that about winter? And when things don't work, we could just let them go. Hey, Sarah. No. Okay. So now, put your hands back and you decide which way you want. If your left hand on your abdomen, your right hand on your chest, or the opposite. And now we're going to do a big breath, and instead of expanding the chest, we're going to expand the abdomen. So the abdomen goes up and the chest goes down. And again, if that is a hard movement for you, that's complicated, then you can imagine it. You can imagine your abdomen going up and your chest going down. Don't force it. Just lightly. Your hand can be a little bit more up here as well. Yeah, there you go. So you can feel. So do you feel those parts of you going up and down? And in this movement, abdomen going up, chest going down, try and roll your head to the right and to the left with your eyes really soft, not staring. Small, small movement. And if that's a hard idea, if you feel like you don't know if you're holding parts of your head, you can try the opposite, trying pushing your jaw. Really, you're super mad. Teeth clenched, eyes really, really pointed at the ceiling. And see if that helps. If you need, you can take a little break. Put your arms down. You can try this instead. This way you're not like... Is that better? Is the roller working for you this time? Yeah. Okay, good. There's also a really soft one. That's like this. Okay, so yeah. So after that little break, you can put your hands back, or you can change the sides. See if that's an interest to you. And now I'm going to explain the instructions before you get moving. Try to understand what, just wait till I say the whole instruction. That came out weird. So you're going to inhale and you're going to expand the chest. And when you exhale, you are going to push out your abdomen. So it's still the idea of a seesaw movement, but it's happening in the same breath, in that same period. So inhale, expand the chest, and when you exhale, you push out that breath, you're pushing out the abdomen. And you can think of it also as pushing out the belly, because the abdomen is pretty close. And the abdomen doesn't really move so much that I can see it. I don't really see people's abdomen. Like, it's a very small movement. But try and see if that's still going to happen, if that can happen for you. So expanding the chest while you inhale, and expanding the abdomen, bringing the abdomen out, protruding the belly, letting the belly become this big circle in you, like a balloon that's inflating and getting bigger. And you can also notice what that does to the floor, how you feel the floor. Does that change the way that your pelvis moves? And remember not to force anything. The movement doesn't really come from the muscles of your legs or up high your chest. It comes really from the air that's going outside your body. You're using that part of yourself to push out the air. You can imagine it like that. And can you see your whole self in that movement? Can you imagine your whole body in that movement? Is your whole body making that up and down seesaw movement? And I just got the image of a seesaw and I was like, oh, seesaws are really fun. So can they be fun also? Instead of being like, oh, I can't get this. Can it be like, oh, one side of the seesaw is having trouble going up. And that's okay. That's what's happening right now. Maybe that'll change. Maybe it won't. Maybe I don't have an abdomen. So take a little break. Put your arms down, back on the floor. If you need, you can change position as well. If the roller is getting tired for you, you can bring your legs up to standing. So now, can you do the opposite of that? What is the opposite of that? What was the movement that we just did? And what would be the opposite of that? So it would be breathing, inhaling, and bringing the abdomen up, and exhaling, and bringing the chest down. So inhale, the abdomen goes up, and exhale. Oh, did I say chest goes down? I meant chest goes up. I was like, there's something odd about what people are doing right now. So yeah, both going up. Inhale, abdomen goes up. Exhale, chest goes up. And if you're on the side, maybe you won't feel the whole cavity changing position on one side, but you might feel it on the other side where your body is touching the floor. Can you feel that movement? Can you feel the way that when you breathe, pressure changes from one part of yourself to the other part? And now if you want, you can turn on to whichever side you want. You can turn to be on your right side, or you can turn to be on your left side. There's some padding, there's some blocks that can hold your head up. And you can bring up your knees so that they're at like a 90-degree angle. And now the same thing. Inhale and expand the chest. Exhale and expand the abdomen. And notice what parts are contacting the floor. And think about that, though that breath making the cavity bigger. So the chest is one cavity. It's like my teacher calls it the container, because it holds things inside. It's not really, we call it sometimes a rib cage, but cages don't move. Cages don't breathe, and we breathe. But we don't really have a rib cage. Sometimes we call it, in my class, a rib basket. So can you feel when you bring that breath in that the basket is getting bigger, or at least on one side you can feel that. And then the same thing with your chest, the same thing with your abdomen. Can you feel the way that the floor gives you information about what your body is doing? Now you can do the opposite of that, inhaling and expanding the abdomen, and exhaling and expanding the chest. And noticing what parts of your body are moving.
Could you repeat that last one, please?
Sure. So you're going to do the opposite of whatever you were doing before. Before was...
So now we're inhaling into the chest, letting the belly come down.
Yes. No, no, no. It's inhale, expand abdomen, and exhale, expand chest.
Exhale. Exhale. What?
Inhale, expand abdomen. Exhale, expand chest. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Now, if you want to change position also, if you want to go from your side to your back, you can do that. If you want to go from your side to the other side, also try that. Because that'll give you information on both sides. Maybe that's too big, but we'll see. That's better, yeah. And if you want, you can also lean this hand, this arm over here. You can, yeah, there you go. That'll give you more information. Is that comfortable for you? Yeah. If you can make your knees into a 90-degree angle, so bringing your knees up a little bit more, then do that. If you can't, then keep it the way it is. Or if you want, you can also explore what's the differences between having your legs longer or having your legs shorter and closer to you. What difference does that make in terms of breathing? What does that offer you in terms of information? Does it feel more stable? Does it feel less stable? So, I guess it depends where people are at. If you've been trying a lot of the inhale, expand your chest, exhale, expand your abdomen, you can try the opposite. You can play with the sides that you're on. It's great because everybody's doing different things. So in your personal experience with whatever you're doing, try to do both exercises, both things. Inhaling and expanding the chest and exhaling and expanding the abdomen, or inhaling and expanding the abdomen and exhaling and expanding the chest, whichever one you're at. And do you have a preference? Oh my gosh, I never even thought about that. Do I have a preference? I think it's expanding the abdomen for me. And the chest just doesn't go anywhere. And what is it for you?
For me, it's chest for sure.
Mm.
Today.
It changes. I've been changing seriously. Whoa.
Abdomen all the time.
It's easier for your abdomen to get big? You
Yeah.
said? Yeah.
So if you want to take a little break back on the on your back, you can do that. If you are comfortable on your back, these instructions are for being on your back, but you could do them on your side. You can do them in any position you want. You don't have to make me happy. So now, since you've been on your side, how is it like being on the floor? And how are you breathing normally? What is breathing normally for you? And I'll ask the same question as before. How do you know you're breathing? Is it the air that's coming out of your mouth? Do you feel that on your lips? Is it your body moving from side to side? I mean, from top to bottom? And you can try putting your hands on each part, one on the chest, one on the abdomen, and see what that information is giving you. What is that telling you? Are the places moving differently than they were at the beginning of the class? Are they moving the same? Both answers are amazing. Do you just not know? Sometimes you're just like, I have no clue what's going on. And sometimes it can be frustrating, but sometimes you just got to let it go. Let it do what it needs to do. Let you do what you need to do. So now, on your back, with your feet standing, if you can do that, knees bent, feet standing. You take in a lot of breath. Now wait for the whole instruction. You take a lot of breath. You close your mouth. And if you want, you can even pinch your nostrils. The idea is you keep your breath inside and you do the seesaw in one whole breath. So the chest goes up, the abdomen goes down, and then you push the air from your chest to your abdomen so that the abdomen goes up and the chest goes down. Now it's really important that you don't force yourself. At the beginning of year 1, I couldn't even do one whole thing without almost having an anxiety attack, because breath for me was a source of anxiety for some reason that I never understood but accepted. So if you can't even do one, that's fine. You can even just imagine that idea of having your breath go in loop-de-loops. And you can go as fast or as slow as you want. Obviously, don't go so fast that you do end up having a panic attack. Breath will cause that, and it can. And so that's why I'm really saying, go do your limit. And don't push your abdomen out so hard that, like, you know, a huge fart comes out. You can have a little fart.
Who's measuring?
Me. I snuck a device under each mat. Measure the fart distance, sound, quality, and smell. And I will send you a letter afterwards. Cease and desist. So is this a challenging thing for you? Are you like, ugh, whatever, EK, this is impossible? Is it easy? Is it so-so? You take the breath in. You can take a smaller breath and do it really slowly, just up and down. Chest comes up, chest goes down, abdomen goes up, abdomen goes down. That breath just moving from you, inside you. And could you ever imagine that we could actually do that? We could actually just hold our breath inside us and move the breath from different parts of ourselves. I think when I was doing this in my first few years, I would just take the breath in, and I wouldn't try to think about lifting or creating some kind of show for my teacher. I was doing that, but by the end, now I feel like when it's hard for me, sometimes I just think about the breath. Just think about the breath. That breath traveling from one part to the other into the body, not necessarily lifting up, not making a show, kind of just going, moving itself. Taking the train from station A to station B, from, what is it, Berry-UQAM to Sherbrooke. Going the right way.
Oh, yeah.
I had to. I've done that so many times. And then you do the walk of shame and you're like, oh God, everyone's watching me make a fool of myself. I'm going to see a documentary on myself about how I made this really big fart sound in my ATM class and then took the metro the wrong way. You can also try it on your side. That's a good idea. Trying that movement on your side, taking the breath in and have it travel from your chest to your abdomen. And if it helps, you can even imagine a seesaw. You can imagine yourself on both sides, smiling and laughing, the little kid that you are, at your playground. You can imagine your best friend there. Who are you? Are you your chest or are you your abdomen? Which one's your best friend? Maybe put him closer to the farts.
It's either closer to the heart or closer to the fart.
Either closer to the heart or closer to the fart. That is a good one.
That's a quotable.
That is quotable. I think,
Tweet this.
yeah, we need to
Although,
tweet
I
that.
had a burp, so nobody's safe.
What's your heart speed?
Yeah.
If you want, you can also try it on your stomach.
Yeah, that's true.
Because your stomach will give you a real lot of information about your ribs and how those are moving.
Oh my god, you can tell I ate too many coffee beans.
Do you need these under your feet?
Oh yeah.
There you go. And remember not to try to force the movement. Also, everyone's doing different things, so you take a break when you want. Somebody is just straight up rolling. I didn't do a rolling class. They're rolling. Amazing. Anarchy. I think somebody fell asleep. Do what you want. And at one point, you can even do it quicker. You can bring one quickly, see how many loops you can do. Are you, what's that really famous swimmer, Michael Phelps? He can probably do a lot of them. Does he do them easy? We don't know. Does he do it struggling? Does he do it with a sense of play at the playground? Does he fart? And see how that affects you. And you can even, if you want more information, you can even put your hands under there. Your hand under your chest, your hand under your belly. See what that does. So maybe you're not used to laying on your belly. Putting your hand there might give you a little bit more information. And then taking it out, you'd be like, oh my gosh, now I can really feel. I was giving a private lesson to one of my clients, and I really helped him with the whole seesaw thing, the whole seesaw movement. We did a lot of that, and for him, his abdomen wasn't really something he thought about, and he couldn't really imagine it. And so I said, okay, well, you leave this class and you go home, and at one point or not, you're going to have to poop, right? When you poop, think about that place. Think about your abdomen, because part of that movement is really close to your abdomen, like that. Those muscles that push the poop out are very close to your abdomen. So you can think about breathing and pushing at the same time, and relating that really functional, really necessary movement of pooping to this movement of breathing. Since that class, he told me that his breath is doing really, that he's really been working with it, and that's a huge thing for him. Really, really big. So, when you go home and you poop, think about me. And now you can turn back on your back, and you can try the arm like a skeleton movement again. This idea of bringing your hand up, and then we had explored also at the same time the movement. What direction does your palm go into? And I gave the picture of like these bushes. If you want to go grab a raspberry, how would you grab that raspberry and how would you bring it into your mouth? Or you can do something really enticing, like a French fry. Like a really crispy French fry, like the crispiest French fry you've ever seen in your life. Grab that crispy French fry and bring it into your mouth. how would you do that? What way would your palm turn? And then you can flip that. You can flip the ways that your palm turns and see where you end up. Does the food end up in your mouth or not? Will the food ever end up in your mouth? No, there's no way that food is going to end up in your mouth. You need to turn in one way to go get the food, and you need to turn another way to get it into your mouth. And I love to think about monkeys hanging from the trees, right? They grab one branch and then they swing themselves to the other branch, and the way that they catch it is the same way that we would catch it. We would go, or the way that they would grab the food is the same way we would. And so you can ask yourself, what's the difference between now and when we started the class? Is your breath involved? Is your abdomen involved? Is your poop involved? Whoever thought? Now, turn yourselves over onto your side, whichever way you want. You can bring your legs up to standing, help you out. Then get up. And when you get up, take the first few seconds to walk around, see how you're walking and see how you're breathing. How do your feet touch the floor? Is it different? It's in the differences that really make the change. The movements, they do something, but they're not as important as the differences that you and your brain recognize. And when you recognize those changes, then you can bring them in. They can be choices that you use in the future. You can even go to shake someone's hand. How would you shake someone's hand? How would you shake someone's hand? How would you eat someone? How would you grab someone to eat? Okay. Whoa. Losing my letters here. Thank you all for coming this very cold day in Montreal. Really appreciate it. And I hope you have a nice rest of the day.